Hello, Reina. So nice to be here with you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your story and how you got here?
Yes, sure. Hi, John. Thank you for having me in your podcast. This is wonderful. I believe I saw a live video of you and, seeing this group of light workers coming together to share where they are in the world now and how they're kind of giving back to the community and to the world, and it's beautiful. I have an interesting path that started really long time ago. I only realized it like 10 years ago, my path through my personal transformation. I believe being a leader is when you change within yourself. And when things inside of you changes, things around you start, developing. And when I was 16, I had a brain surgery, and it was an aneurysm. And I felt the whole passion of living, and I asked to live. And with all the different consequences that might come out from it, I said, I'm ready. I was ready to go into the unknown. I was ready to step into something that I didn't know what it would be. Consequences like being blind, being paralyzed, being deaf, or whichever. I was ready. I said, you know what? I have such a faith inside of me that brings me forth to say, I'm ready to join this, whatever is coming for me. And it happened. It happened back in May 1997. And the first surgery didn't work out, so I had to fly to France. And what happened is that during that day, the doctor comes in my room and says, Reina, I'm going to give you the best gift. And I said, yes, it's my birthday. So I felt something so meaningful happened that I was ready to be reborn. Interestingly enough, my name Reina, the way it means reborn.
Oh,
And I
wow.
only realized that in 2010. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So is that my purpose of life? Am I here to do something about being rebirthed from within? Because I believe we come to this world in a pure soul, so pure that we get conditioned with different things around us. And what happened is that we forget who we truly are. And when this happens, we kind of start searching and trying to ask questions like, who am I? What am I here to do? What's my purpose? How can I make a change? Why am I not like happy? And how can I be happier? Like you get all into all these questions, and then the path opens because you start asking and you start wondering and you start kind of, getting into something that you kind of like don't know what it is. And so when I figured out my name meaning, and I'm like, okay, it's interestingly enough, I was in New York in 2015 and I was speaking about, my story to some people. And heading back to the hotel, they call me back. They're like, come back right now. And I'm like, what? It's like, you're not going to believe what you're going to hear. What are you going to see, actually? And coming back, like the store right next door to where we were, it was called Reina, Rena,
Hmm.
reborn. And I was like, oh my God. So I have like, I received like kind of a confirmation of my purpose. And a lot of things happened, since long ago until today, being transformed into changing my lifestyle into a healthy lifestyle, starting with raw food, volunteering at places where I can learn how to do my own food at home. Even I started a blog just out of the blue in March 2012, and I didn't even know what a blog is. I was like, I felt this energy coming through me, and then I just opened my computer and started writing. And I didn't write because I wanted to have followers. I didn't write because I wanted to be seen. I wrote because I wanted to take a challenge for myself. And my challenge was to really get into my kitchen and start cooking, because I never cooked, you know. I used to always hang out at restaurants and stuff. So turning raw vegan needs a lot of preps. And so I said, okay, I'm taking that challenge for me to do that. Funny enough, you know how life starts coming to you? Is that I had a really old kitchen, and I was like, oh, I would love if that kitchen be renovated. And then, you know, out of the blue, I go down to the landlord because I need to extend my stay. And they said, hey, is there anything you want to change in your apartment? And I didn't even think about asking. And I said, I don't know. I said, let's go and see. And then she comes in, she looks around, she's like, oh, you have an old kitchen. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, how about renovation? And that was like a couple of days after. Right? See how, like, timing wise, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, no way. So 3 days into that, I get my kitchen renovated, and then I start. So I start like preparing all the stuff, and you know, eating living food changes your whole life. You feel so fresh, so energetic, so pure, so connected, that you feel the energies around you. So it's as if I had another birth of feelings, emotions, getting into like deeper inside of me, you know? And things started rolling, like rolling. I always do events to gather people together. And people used to call me like a butterfly because I can connect people in a way or another. And then without knowing, you know, why am I connecting these people together, something happens in terms of like a business deal or connection, or, you know, I'm like, okay, this is strange. I didn't know really where it was coming from. And then the more I dig into, you know, my life and my day to day, I'm like, okay, now I'm realizing I'm being led through higher spirit, you know, through God, through the angels. And I even had a confirmation from an angel. I was having like a full day raw food, and I felt so good. I was like, at the end of the day, I was like literally tearing. I'm like, I can't believe I'm eating like uncooked food that is like, there's like, you know, like when you feel like a burst of energy that's coming into you, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that? So, and that night I was invited for dinner, and I had a cab coming to pick me up. And that the gentleman was in his 70s, long white hair, very talkative, and he was giving me like such an interesting information. Like, and he mentioned, he's like, I'm not like flirting with you, I'm just giving you messages. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And he said, you have a great smile, you have a great voice, do you sing? And I'm like, no. He's like, maybe you should consider something. I'm like, oh, I don't know, whatever. Because I felt like, I was like, maybe I felt good that day anyways, after this whole raw food day. And then he gives me his card. And then on his card is his name is Raphael. And I'm like, okay. So I'm getting messages. I'm receiving information, you know. And then even when I went to the restaurant, my friend runs to me. She said, something is different about you. Like, you look different. And I believe she saw my glow. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and in that moment, I felt like everything started rolling for me, literally. So I believe being a leader is when you take this ownership of your life, the ownership of being who you are, into stepping into something new. And in terms of leading others, is how you are living your talk, your talk. When you walk the talk, you show who you are, and then people would be interested to know more. And through that, it helps them step into their own self. And then they take the lead of their life. You know, when we are down there for them, with them, walking together, at one point, you know, I don't want anyone to hang on me, you know, because they're free. And then they continue in their own path. We all are born leaders. We just need to uncover to discover. And for me, this is my story of where I was, how I became, what's coming for me. You know, I always say life is magic. Just believe, have faith, be grateful, because so many things can happen. And every story in your life is a teaching. And it's a way to say, okay, I'm pausing here. What am I here to learn? What is it in it? What is it in it for me? And then you overflow with your knowledge, your experience, so that you can share it. You cannot give yourself to others. You need to be firm, grounded, and strong. So you give from your own fruits. So I
Oh,
think I summarized it.
I love that.
And I don't know how it happened. It's just, you feel in the moment and then you speak from the heart. And I believe this is, yeah, that's kind
Yeah,
of grosso modo my story.
I love that. Thank you. There's so many beautiful points. I want to revisit the raw food thing in a minute, but well, actually, let's go there now. So, can you tell us more about the raw food lifestyle and how you get? I guess you already explained a little bit how you got into that, but like, yeah, just more about that. Can you encourage people listening to join you in this raw food lifestyle?
Well, yeah, for sure. Like, you know, it's about, it's if you believe in energy, energy is everywhere. You can feel it, sense it, and even see it for some people. And what happens is that just by standing up for the energy point, whatever you are, if you're going into a room or any place, you sense an energy. It's either calling you in or it's pushing you out. Okay, so you sense it if you feel like going to some people's houses or for an interview or whatever. You feel something is like either good for you or not good for you. So imagine you're having raw food. Like raw food is like just fruits and vegetables that is uncooked in its pure shape. Before we start mixing it up, it's in its pure shape. And imagine you have like anything that's dead next to it. You will feel unconsciously that there is an energy coming from this pure food, and then that one is so kind of weird, because speaking about my experience when I was in the restaurant, when my friend came and saw my glow after I had a full day of raw food. I used to love like the tartare because it was before I was like just transitioning.
Yeah.
And I ordered, like, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to eat. So I ordered like a raw tartare tuna. And when it came here, I'm like, ah, something is not calling me to eat, you know, because you touch the pureness of your sensitivity. That when it's something that's not healthy or not, doesn't it's not vibrating. When it doesn't vibrate energy, that means it's not going to vibrate inside of you. And you need to start having the things that vibrates inside of you, that your body says, okay, I feel it, I want it, and it makes me feel good. So I did a lot of juice fast. I did a lot of water fast. The juice fast is so you know natural, healthy, full of longevity and vibration and vitality. And a person needs 21 days to make this shift. And once you do, whether you're eating just raw food or having a juice fast, it actually cleanses in your body. So it really releases all the detoxes out. So you detox for a few days. And at the beginning, don't be surprised if you have headaches. Don't be surprised if you're tired. Don't be surprised if you like just want to nap a bit. And then the energy will boost because it needs to cleanse so that it will reboot itself so that you can move on. And that experience for me was like marvelous. Like I lost what I was never big per se, but I kind of lost weight. I was more toned. When you get to have cellulite for ladies, they actually go away. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked much younger. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
You look young.
it starts, people like, and all these, I don't know, different companies, they start promoting so many things and to make you younger, to feel thinner and all of that. I'm like, just change your eating habits and try. Only by experience, you shall understand how your body works. I cannot come here and tell you and preach you to change your food habits. You have to experience it by yourself because you need to see what it makes for you and how it changes you. The first experience for me into raw food. I started unconsciously having like vegan and vegetarian friends. And I was like the one who says, no, you should eat meat. Oh no, you should eat fish. You know, I was like that kind of a person. Like I used to eat everything. And then I was invited to Boston with my vegetarian friend. And our friend over there, you know, him and I used to always go and eat sushi and all of those things. And like, when he said we're going to this raw food place, I was like, are you kidding me? What am I gonna eat? He's like, just don't worry about it. I'm sure you will like, you will know, you will feel it. So we went there. It was fun. It was nice, and we got so many things on the menu, from the starter to the main dish, and then the dessert. And trust me, I felt something is like fireworks in my mouth, like all the saviors, all the spices, all the sweetness, all the sourness, like it was mixed in one like ball, like exploded in my mouth. I'm like, whoa, this is insane. And specifically the dessert. When you have uncooked or unprepared with any dairy or eggs or whatever, products that's pure from the earth, and then you're having it, and I'm like, wow. You know, I come from a family that is known for their Lebanese sweets. I'm originally from Lebanon. And the authentic Lebanese sweets since 1881. So my great grandfather, he developed you know, and I'm lucky now because they do like vegan stuff, which is awesome. But like, you know, knowing that dessert for me is so important, and and seeing that I can actually have raw vegan dessert, it blew my mind. You know? And specifically when I was having this full day raw food back in Montreal, because I start like things just happen. Like for me to go to this raw food day, I went to this 1 hour explanation of why raw food. And the thing that really connected to my brain is that, you know, when you go to hospital, because I've been in the hospital for a long time, back in 1997, they don't serve you the good food for you. They would serve you like a slice of meat, a potato puree, and a bit of like steamed vegetables, like this much of vegetables, but this much of steak, and then this much of puree, like tomato, potatoes. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like I never had a vibrant meal in the hospital, and the hospital is supposed to treat you. And then you go down to the cafe in the hospital, and then all the vending machines are like all the junk food. I'm like, what kind of a hospital wants to treat their patients or whomever is visiting, giving them the lively, good food, is selling this, you know, or offering that? And I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is true. Like, you know, just being logical. And then, you know, they say if you're like walking in the jungle or walking somewhere and then you were out of food, and what would you do? And I'm like, well, if you see a cow, you're not just gonna grab it and eat it. Like it's impossible. So you're gonna just choose something from whatever the wild, you know, like a leaf or like a fruit or whatever, which is true. And it actually happened to me. I was in Costa Rica back in 2016, and I think we went for a walk for like, God knows, like maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, and we only had like a zucchini, one or two zucchini, cucumber, and that's it. And then we start walking, and then we saw a coconut tree. And so we took the coconut and we drank it and we ate it. And I felt like, whoa, like I had all the energy. You know, I even ran a half marathon without even training for it. And I was never like on the carbs, because people say, oh, you have to be on carbs and all that. I was having like juices, like green juices. And because the body is so intelligent, it will create its energy from its own when you feed it the right food. This is why I say you only need to start experiencing to understand how your body functions with that type of food, you know.
Makes sense.
And it's amazing. Like I sprout, and this year because of being in Montreal and with this pandemic thing, I even made a garden on my balcony. I live on the 18th floor. I have a beautiful balcony just behind the screen, and
Wow, cool.
fantastic, you know. And then And then you feel it, like it's like your plants become your kid, like your babies. You want to take care of them, you want to water them. And it's one of the best gifts because you yourself, you're a plant, like you have roots. And in order for your roots to be strong, you need to nourish yourself. And when you nourish yourself with the right ingredients, with with the ingredients that are so organic, with no pesticides, with no fungicides, with nothing that is really hurting your body will just like rejuvenate, you know, and it's important. When you choose to take care of yourself is the time where you say, okay, this body, this mind, the soul is so important. I need to give it its best.
Yeah. For
So,
me, for me, thank you for sharing that. For me, one of the most important parts about eating natural and as raw as for me, I eat as raw as possible. I don't eat fully raw. I'm not even fully vegan, but I eat lots of fruits, and I go through phases where I'm eating giant smoothies, and all day that I make myself. And I just think like one thing that everyone needs to know is the body will heal itself when you remove the things that are getting in the way, right? When you remove toxins, when you just kind of eat natural, uh, raw things, the body will heal itself for sure, and you'll experience a vibrance of energy, like lots of an abundance of vibrant energy,
absolutely,
which is
absolutely.
amazing. I want to go back to the point you made about sensitivity and just like how sensitive we can become to our surroundings, and just like we almost become like extrasensory, like the way that we can experience things when we're in touch with that subtle energy. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. It's as I said, the path for me happened. So I started in the raw food. I'm not 100% raw. I'm vegan. Like I'm raw 80% and vegan like 20% depending on the day. I definitely have my smoothies and juices and all of this. At the same timing, back in 2003, I was initiated level 1 Reiki energy healing. And back in the days, I didn't really understand it much. So I'm like, okay, it's kind of energy. And it was a relative of mine who really believes in that. And she initiated me. And I was like, okay. So I had that until the 2012. And in 2012, I was working at a company. Actually, no, even before that. I was working for a company. I never liked the job and I felt something odd about it. But then the reason why I went in the job, apparently, that I discovered after, is that I met amazing people that introduced me to my other Reiki master. And I was initiated level 2. And then a couple of years after, I got initiated level 3 and 4. But going back to the level 2, it was during this transformation of raw food. So you're connecting to the energy, you're connecting to the food, and then everything is bursting together. And the whole connection got me into feeling more emotional, more empathetic, feeling more things around me. I can feel the things before they happen sometimes. When I do any treatments with my clients, I kind of like I guide them, so I kind of like come with them where they are, and then it's not that I allow, I invite them to see things on their own, because who am I to tell them what they're feeling, you know? Once they understand their body, they listen to their thoughts, their emotions, this is when they grow. So for me, it came together with the raw food and the energy healing, and it was like a mind-blowing experience, especially when we do when we initiate people for any level, there's a 21 days of detox. So it's an emotional detox, it's a mental detox, and it's a physical detox. We ask them to change their eating habits for that period of time, in order not to eat any animal product, because you want to be sympathetic, you want to be you know kind and caring for the beings. And the beings, it's any kind of being. And so when you don't eat anything that is dead, you actually start eating the living food. The whole body, and as I said, 21 days is the time for anything to be transformed. So even your craving stops, because and the sugar gets out of your body because you're only eating the right healthy sugar, you know. So by connecting these two, for me, it made me more sensitive, and I started understanding things on a deeper level. I might have had that long before, especially during my surgery day. It was like I felt I knew something is bigger than me is guiding me, you know. So, but then when we're younger, we can listen to a sound or to a feeling, but then we don't all not a lot of people give it its importance, and we only discover it later in days. And if I say that and we do a statistics, I believe we all are born with that, but at one point in time, we just we just
You know,
stop listening until another day that, huh, I can feel this. I have this energy and I feel people. And I'm like, I'm so empathetic. I'm like, why? How? And then you go back to your childhood and then you understand how things have been there for you. And then, you start developing yourself in adulthood, which is like totally fine. So I say, why to wait for something to happen for you to change? Why don't you just change now, here and now in this moment, and say, okay, I'm ready to take a choice in my life and to change some things in my day to day to be a good, better person for me. So whatever I'm changing in me is gonna be felt outside. So go in to expand out and not take whatever is out to expand in, you know, if you connect what I'm saying.
I think so. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I just think I love the feeling of just being more in tune with energy, more in tune with nature, in tune with whatever is coming up. And as you say, a lot of us kind of tune that out and turn it off and stop listening. And yeah, most of society is pretty, pretty dead, right? Pretty tuned out to what's really going on, which is quite unfortunate.
Very, I used to go down in the streets, and when I walk like this, like, you know, and people think I'm smiling to them, which is like amazing. But then, but because you can see people like are kind of they have a soul that is not present, and they're not even smiling. They're like walking like I can't even not smile, unfortunately. So I try to show it, but it's not. Well.
You're
Uh,
lucky.
and I forget that when people smile back, I forget that the way I look is like it's as if I'm smiling. So, but I'm happy to bring this smile back to people when my walks, in the morning or any time. But it's interesting because I have, through the walks or the discoveries in my day to day, I don't see people like full of energy and full of, goodness. They feel either afraid or anxious or worried, and I'm like, why? Why are we like walking dead? It's not supposed to be. There is this light in your heart. Let it shine. And when it shines, like everything changes around you. Like you'd be so amazed about the magic that can come in your life. And I've had though I have a lot of stories, seeing the magic coming in my life, from so many years ago until today. And just ask. They used to say, ask and you shall receive, and it's true. But ask um, um, without
Expectation.
expectation, because expectation juggles our mind. And when it juggles our mind, we become so attached to what we want instead of letting go and allow it to come. You know, I have, and since this transformation, I've been writing a lot of mini codes that were coming into me, and I was like writing them. And this is how my blog kind of started because I had a bit of, actually a lot of codes that I've put there, and I'm like. If I'm writing it for a reason, that's fantastic. And then through the first few years, I've realized I was also writing them for myself because you are the light, you are the God within, you are this magical being that has been sent to this earth so that you can change and show the change and be the change and be the love, be the kind, be the compassionate, be the forgiveness, uh, and all the power is within you. and it's about really not giving the power away, and it's about sharing it, and sharing it from the heart, not from the mind. You know, it's not about what I'm here to get something out. No, I'm here to share. I'm here to present. I'm here from the soul being that's present, is sharing and kindly and lovingly, you know. So,
That's beautiful. I would love to hear some of the codes that you received. Do you mind sharing a couple?
oh my goodness, you know what? I would love to. I just have to read it.
Oh, it's okay. We can do it at a different time.
Because you know why? When I write any quote, it comes in, and I don't really remember it after, like as it should be. But I have one. I believe it's the easy one. It's like solitude.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know what solitude is, and they say solitude means um, something that's, how do I say, God, it's like seeing oneself liberated in depth towards the true eternity, you know?
Seeing oneself liberated.
Because solitude is an SOLITUDE. I love deciphering. The solitude is seeing oneself liberated, SOL, in depth towards an ultimate eternity. When you are solitude, it doesn't mean you're alone. You're going inside of yourself to see this beautiful, pure being that is so powerful. That's gonna bring you so much and so many and so like beauty, you know?
That's
And
amazing.
I'm like, okay, I'm not solid. I don't feel alone, like alone or being solid, like the solitude by itself. I feel like I'm learning, taking things from me, because it's important to pause and say, okay, now I'm ready to take time for myself. Because if I am not there for myself, I cannot be there for others. So by nurturing, feeding, taking care of your mind, body, and spirit, everything changes. You feel more aligned. Like it's as if your soul and your body come together. And when your soul and your body come together, you feel aligned, so the path is straight. But when the body and the soul are not aligned, what happens? You become anxious, you become fearful, you become like worried. I'm like, why am I here? What am I doing? How do I feel? Na, 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 na. So it kind of gets blurred everywhere in your body, in your eyes, in your mind, like even like everywhere. So when your body and your soul is kind of connected, you're connected through the heart. And then the path opens. Literally, it opens. Anytime you're going through any moment, take a moment to pause and close your eyes and just take a deep breath. And through taking that deep breath, you allow the energy to come from the mind down to the heart. And then through that experience, it's a practice. Through that experience, your heart opens. And it's as if you're opening the magic box. And then you see what's coming to you. And then you start appreciating. I'm like, I didn't see that coming. Oh, thank you. This is exactly what I wanted at this moment in time. Oh my God, I'm amazed how this just, was brought in my life, because I wanted that long ago, and then it just happened, So all the questions or whatever you were waiting for, it comes once you're ready to open. But in order to be ready to open, you need to have done the whole deep work inside.
For
Because we
sure.
all have, so many things that we've been through in our life, and the process never stops.
And I think
Going through it every day.
that's so beautiful. I'm gonna write down the that solitude code, and I believe that our heart opens more when we stop seeking outside ourselves so much. As you're saying, like release expectation, and everything you're saying is leading towards like this journey within. We're going within, and from that place, I believe our heart will.
You can find all my quotes. Even I wrote something back in 2000 and I think 11 or 12, I don't know, about the mind, how it juggles your, like the expectations juggles your mind. And there's something about it, like I can't really recall all the words, but if you go to rawloverecipes.com, this is where I put a raw love quotes, and then you can just read most of what I've put over there. It's not a site that I'm always updating. I did write a few things that I haven't published yet, and it was about the decision during the pandemic to take 10 days water fast and vipassana meditation at home. If you know vipassana, it's the silent meditation. So it
Beautiful.
was a great experience. Like I even like I went a little bit beyond because I started writing my experience of day to day and how the mind works. And then yes, even though we've done a transformation, even though we've been through a lot, the mind keeps on speaking to us, and we need to keep on learning how to silence it so we feel more. Um, so yeah, you can go there and you can check it out. You can read all what you want. I've been posting a lot on my personal Facebook as well, and on Instagram.
Rawloverecipes.com. And what is your Facebook and Instagram?
Well, the thing is that's the, even though I'm a background in marketing, we know how to. I know how to market others. I kind of not. I'm not shy to market myself, but I'm kind of like, it's okay. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. So I need to find a way to help myself more in that terms of business marketing, because I have three types of businesses in a way. One is my and all of them, they start with raw, and raw changed my life. So for me, that's the main point. So the first company is a raw marketing thing, and it's a company that I created so that I develop events in health and wellness to bring people together. And I believe education is free, so I try to do as much as I can low um, like I try to, yeah, like I've done a couple of events in Montreal, and I try to make it affordable for people to come and learn. And I've done like I do websites for people in the same business that I believe in, because I cannot promote something I don't believe in. I believe in something that's sustainable. I believe in energy. I believe in the environment. I believe in healthy beings and healthy food. Whatever that connects to my understanding, I'm ready to promote it for sure. So this is kind of the business, and I'm a consultant. So if anyone needs because I connect to the energy, and I speak in that moment to that person what they need to know or feel, for their businesses and stuff. The other one is raw healing. Rawhealing.ca is the healing part of the sessions I do. The workshop I've given, the sessions is like one-on-one energy session. It can be through distance sessions or through one-on-one. Whenever I'm traveling around, people can come and see me, and even here in Montreal. And I've created back in 2017 something I call rebirth workshops, and it's for women, which is inviting women to connect to the feminine energy, and it's through meditation, energy healing, body movement, and relaxation and sharing. And so much magic came out from these circles. I'm like, wow. And the reason I call it rebirth is because Reina is my name, and Reina means reborn. So I connected that because I kind of guide them into really finding this flower that's within them. And when I was traveling back to Lebanon in 2018, I was giving those rebirths for women, and they're like, why don't you give rebirth for men? I'm like, I am a woman. How am I going to be leading men? They're like, oh, how about you try? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know. So I was up in the mountains in a beautiful, beautiful forest. There was a big event happening. So I said, okay, I'm gonna lead the men into their rebirth. And I usually take, let's say, 10 to 12 people because I want to be fully present there. We were maybe 14, and then myself. And usually the workshop is like 2 hours. And it lasted for like 4 hours, and nobody even felt the time passing. They went so deep in it that I was so surprised of what came out of it. The connection, the vulnerability, this readiness to state what there have been hidden inside of them that has been taking a lot of weight, putting it all out there. I was like, oh my God, how did this happen? Like, how was I able to guide and lead all these amazing men? I'm like, being a woman, but I feel like I connected to the energy of the masculine and allowed them. Actually, I don't like to say allowed. Actually, I invited them to go into their feminine side. And feminine is being connected to the feelings, connected to the emotion, and not only being in action. And when that happened, I was like, wow. So I started giving men rebirth workshops, and the things that come out of it is so amazing. Because I use the body, I use the music, I use the sound, I use the voice. Um, and it all comes in the moment. It's not like I plan it. I never plan things. Mostly I don't plan. I allow things to happen. Like even in my raw marketing events, um, you know, um, at one point in my stories, once I would like to publish a book at one point in my life to say the stories of the magic that happens in my life.
You should publish your codes as well.
Yeah, actually, I would like that. That's the thing. I need to sit with myself and organize.
It's hard to market for ourselves
I
sometimes.
know.
We all need a little help with that, I think.
Like,
Everyone needs a coach.
absolutely true. And anyways, it's in my mind. It's in my soul. I would like to put my work out there because it's not for me. It's coming through me for everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's a definite. Even yesterday I sat down and I started writing because I wanted to write the book, and even got a message from a friend. Like, it's as if the divine was talking to me. It's like, start writing your book. Like, the energy will come through your heart, and you know it. Just do it. So I was like, okay. So I started writing a bit to see where it's gonna take me.
Maybe you should, would you like to help us market for our summit? Because it's kind of like an event. It's kind of like a health and wellness event. What do you
Okay.
think? I mean, we can talk about that.
Oh, listen. I'm open to. I said whatever I feel connected with. I'm ready to join forces because one hand cannot clap, and we need to be many.
Yes.
And the more energy we create in the circle, the more burst of energy can be touched everywhere else. And I felt it because I have done it. Back in 2015, many things happened for this to happen, which is like a lot of stories. But I was able to travel with Hippocrates Health Institute. It's the institute in Florida, which I don't know where you are in Florida now, but it's in West Palm Beach. And they promote raw food. And then I've been there on a symposium because all the energies got me there. And I was kind of asked to travel with them voluntarily basis to all the East Coast. Um, and then at the end of the travel, they said, "Hey, Reina, how about you bring, the the co-director to Montreal?" Without even thinking, I said yes. I said yes, and I said, "Okay, so he's gonna come for one day, and then another day." I'm like, "Okay, 2 days. That's give me 2 days." I'm like, "Wow, this is big." And I said to myself, because he was in Montreal in end of 2014, and I kind of was at the time just lost my job, so I couldn't afford to pay the ticket. So I said I'm not gonna go because I didn't know who Hippocrates was. My transformation in raw food happened by itself, and what happens in my life is that I experience things and then I get confirmation. It's not like I read about it and then experience it. You know what I mean? So I kind of walk differently.
Yeah, I see.
And
Yeah.
everything that happens in my life, I live it and then get confirmed. I'm like, oh, that was cool. So, um, and I was invited to that October event because back of good karma, you know, it's another story as well. You know, by not knowing what you do something that's so good for others, and then one day that other comes in your life, say, "Hey, I have 2 tickets. Would you like to go?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Let's go!" And this is where I met them, and I felt like if I want to bring him here, um, the co-director of Hippocrates, I would be like giving it open for people to be able to come. And I took me a month and a half to find a location, and a month and a half to actually less than a month to promote it. And I said, I gathered a group of friends who became volunteers at the event itself, but I had to do everything from um, like everything by myself. Like I would wake up at, I don't know, 6 a.m. and I would sleep at 2:30 a.m. because I'm like so energetic. I'm like, I want to do this. This is amazing. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the beauty about this is that when I started, I did it without a budget because I didn't think of what I can get out of it. What my message and passion was is how much I can share and how many people I can touch.
I,
And
I,
this is what brings the energy in you.
I love that so much, and I feel like this is the way I'm striving to live my life as well. You know, this is what I aspire towards, and I'm doing it for sure. And I think a lot of people listening and watching, this is one thing that keeps coming up on this show is service and just being there for others and helping people without without a thought of ourselves really, and as you said, expectations, which is beautiful. So I have to wind down the interview, but I feel like there's so many places for collaboration that I'm going to reach out afterwards. I think we have a lot that we can talk about. Do you have any last words that you can say for like aspiring leaders and healers and coaches who are listening and watching?
Well, for sure, yes. And as I said during the whole conversations we had today, is that start experiencing things on your own. Take time for you. Understand yourself and see how your body works and your mind works and then your soul works. Because when you feel this change within you, you can really touch people's heart. And I say, be this tree that's so strong and allow this tree to be well nourished through the thoughts, the positive thoughts, the beautiful love and care and kindness, and then the nutrients, and allow your tree to grow really big. And then from the fruits have so many seeds. So see how many you can help and share. Like just give your fruits to people at one point, because and then just wait for them to come to you, because we cannot change people if they're not ready to do the change themselves. And believe in yourself and have faith and be grateful. Because with this gratitude, this faith, this belief, you see that you are the perfect image of the divine. And when you are the perfect image of the divine, that means you are already compassionate. You're already full of love. You're already full of unconditional love and with a lot of abundance. So be you, the true you, and share. Yeah.
Thank you so much. There's so much here. I'm gonna have to rewatch this a couple times just to get all the wisdom. There's a lot more for us to do, I think, in terms of yeah sharing this wisdom. So let's
Well, just to mention, if you wanna go and check my website for marketing and the events, it's rawmarketing.ca,
okay.
and the healing is rawhealing.ca.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time and your light. Thank you for being here. It's been wonderful having you, and I look forward to talking again. And yeah, if you're listening or watching, go find Reina and find her channels. And I think the rebirth that you help people experience is a moment by moment because of the freshness that you're able to cultivate through your diet and lifestyle and I'd say mentality. I'd say the rebirth is happening almost like momentary. and that seems to be what you're not just creating, but you're helping people to create for themselves.
Absolutely. I even see that with my clients. We speak in one session, and then it's as if they remove this cloudness on their eyes, and then they start seeing, and they become a bit like more like observant, and that they even can't believe that this is happening to them. So yes, life happens to us and for us. Let it be and live with it.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's talk again soon. Have a beautiful day.
I'm looking forward to connect for other projects.
You too.
Enjoy.